Can I ask you something, Miss Evelyn? Do you know what her pain is? Because the only reason a person would behave in this manner.
We're not going to throw this behavior word around again. We're not going to do that. She does not have a behavior problem, and that's not fair.
First of all, your finger in my face is not going to work for me.
But the name calling is not going to work for me. Because I don't appreciate you keep throwing out these names. What about my disrespect? All I have been is disrespectful. I've been called. Wait a minute!
So let me put something on your mind for a minute. What if Tamar isn't actually the root of all this chaos? What if the person stirring the pot in the Braxton family has really been Miss E from the very beginning? Because, child, things are getting downright wild with this family again, and as usual, Tamar is right in the center of it all. Every time she pops up on social media for anything, folks immediately jump on her, calling her loud, messy, desperate for attention, and someone who never lets anything go. But Tamar is pushing back harder than ever, saying people have it all wrong, and that the way she acts comes straight from how she was raised by her mother. Well, isn't that something? For a while now, Tamar has been opening up about her mental health and her healing journey, hinting that a lot of her struggles came from growing up with a mother who carried around resentment, especially toward their father, and how that energy shaped her.
Your mother run your life.
How dare he try to tell me how to raise my kids after he have abandoned us? He has some nerve.
Y'all have lives to live yourself, and she can't run her life, her home, and your home too.
And you know what? Had you been home long enough to help me to raise them, it wouldn't be such a problem. But where were you? I'm there hanging in the street.
What did you do
doing whatever
all day?
you were
What
big
did you
enough
do
to do.
all day long?
What did you do?
What did you do?
And honestly, Tamar has given the world every side of herself. We've seen her drama with Vince, her issues with Junior, the constant tension with her sisters, and the way she's burned just about every bridge she's ever walked across. And this year, she went even further, calling out Funky Deneva and suggesting she might have been assaulted after a night out, or worse, hinting about inappropriate mess involving some of Tony's men. She did not hold back.
Steal anything.
You don't. You stole men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them
Oh,
a few times.
Who? What man?
You not get the lead.
Oh, dirty low down ass bitch.
Oh, you're such a liar. Such a liar.
A few years ago, all that behavior was entertaining, and it's part of what made her the fan favorite during the early seasons of Braxton Family Values. But as time goes on, Tamar keeps doing things that leave people shaking their heads, and folks are getting worn out by the constant drama. She keeps saying she's healing, but child, a lot of people feel like she's only spiraling more. Some are even saying, Tamar really needs help. She drains everybody. Love her from a distance. She never takes accountability. She always feels attacked and doesn't realize how nasty she can get. She's almost 50 and falls out with everybody. She's not going to change. None of this is new, but people are warning her that if she doesn't step back soon, whatever goodwill the public has left is going to disappear. But in typical Tamar fashion, she's refusing to let people talk about her without clapping back. And this time, she's pointing the finger directly at her mother, Miss Evelyn. All the sisters carry their own kind of bitterness, but Tamar is the only one who has ever openly talked about it. And now she's connecting her behavior to her childhood, explaining how she grew up watching her mother hold on to anger, especially after her marriage to Michael Braxton fell apart.
Say some things out her mouth that are really cutting.
But your daughters are being held emotionally hostage to your ex-wife's bitterness towards you.
Mm-hmm.
You and her need to get on the same side of the table and free those girls. Because the elephant in the room that nobody will talk about is Evelyn Braxton's attitude.
It's been more than 2 decades since Evelyn and Michael split after she caught him cheating, but the amount of anger Evelyn still holds toward him is unreal. And that resentment shaped how Tamar and her sisters learned to respond to pain, betrayal, and conflict, even in how they treat each other. They didn't just see their mother's anger, they absorbed it.
I don't even think they look at me as a sister. They don't like me. We were very close as kids, very close as young adults, and now where we are in our lives, that relationship no longer serves us. And I would hate to keep arguing with them and keep building negative memories instead of building and relying and thinking of the good memories that we had.
Even Toni, who is the eldest and appears to be the most polished and refined of the sisters, has her own messy side. She's just better at keeping it tucked away. And let's be honest, Evelyn has always had a controlling streak. Back when she and Michael were divorcing, she actually made the kids choose sides, and anyone who didn't fully turn away from their father felt her wrath. That's why she and Tracy clashed so much. Tracy lived closest to their dad in Maryland, so she wanted to maintain a relationship with him, and Evelyn was furious about it. She reportedly held on to that grudge right up until Tracy passed, but Tamar was the youngest, and during all that turmoil, she aligned herself completely with her mother and practically ran every decision by her. That created a deep codependency that followed her into adulthood.
She said she thought was right.
Pitiful lie, too.
And as long as you agree with her, she's fine. And it's the same thing with y'all. If y'all don't agree with her, she is pissed. And it's time for y'all to stop letting your mother run your life.
According to Tamar, the bitterness wasn't the only thing her mother passed down. Evelyn loved being the dominant voice in the room and believed she was always right about everything. If Tamar had her own thoughts and they didn't match Evelyn's, she was quickly shut down. And because Evelyn constantly reminded the girls she raised all 6 of them alone after Michael left, the guilt made it almost impossible for the sisters, especially Tamar, to challenge her. That's the environment Tamar grew up in. And even more than 20 years later, Evelyn still carries so much anger, and it often spills onto her daughters.
You're picking up what I'm putting down. So looking at Tina Knowles and her children, and looking at Evelyn Braxton and her girls, it's proof to me that forgiveness or unforgiveness and bitterness can trickle down to your kid. I feel like Tina Knowles is the reason why Solange and Beyonce are able to persevere and press through adversity with grace and poise. I know this is a weird way to put it, but Beyonce and Solange was able to see their parents go through a healthy divorce. Even Miss Tina acknowledged that they did not go back and forth. And honestly, she had every reason to be bitter and not forgive him for having an outside baby on her. And then on the other hand, we can look at Miss Evelyn Braxton and see why her daughters are still on each other's neck in their 40s and 50s.
And now, people are starting to agree with Tamar because it's clear how Evelyn Braxton set the tone for how disrespect plays out in that family, and how her behavior may have shaped Tamar into who she is today. I think I want to make a list of villains people don't think are villains, and start with that good old Evelyn Braxton. Evelyn Braxton represents so many of our toxic mothers that have raised us to become mentally scarred women pretending to have it all together. The Braxton family has always been toxic, and Evelyn is the main problem who held it over her kids' heads and forced them to stick together despite any issues. Them girls don't like each other, and Tamar is always the scapegoat because of her mouth and personality. But now I want to hear from you. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe before you go. I'll catch you in the next one, baddies.